that things are not well. We
Ah,
are serving the entire country, and we are serving everybody the way we should. We've had some challenges. The situation even gives us some respite, and we know that things will go well within the shortest time possible.
okay. So based on what you just said, a few people think that there are some challenges, and it's like they are making assumptions the whole country. So can you give us an overview of what is
About pollution of our water bodies for a very long time. Okay, and so um, we all know the way it affects water production and all that. Currently, the most important challenge that we are facing is the shutting down of the desalination plant in Teshinonga. And so maybe I think we should limit our conversation to that area. The entire country is fine. We are not hearing any problems from other regions. So we want to believe that everything is fine. And rest assured, we're on the ground. We are monitoring every part of the country. And if there's any challenge, we'll bring to your notice and we'll go onto the ground and ensure.
Thank you very much.
Oh, Manani.
Mr. Mate, like I already said in the intro, a lot of heavily polluted rivers in Ghana, for instance, the Pra, the Tano, Ankroba, these polluted rivers are not affecting the operations of the Ghana Water Company in any way.
Yes, they are. I mean, that's why I mentioned pollution, because the pollution that we are faced with is not only about Galamsey. So I like to generalize it rather than
Okay.
narrowing it to Galamsey.
Okay.
Okay, because you mentioned Galamsey, and then people assume that is the only problem that we have. No, we have sand winning affecting us. We have people dumping sewage and refuse into our water bodies and all that, including alluvial mining. Okay, so we can even aquaculture. Now, currently, aquaculture is affecting us because they're using inorganic and organic feeds for fish rearing on our river bodies, and they also affect they impact positively on the alluvial soil, which aids aquatic weeds, the growth of aquatic weeds. So now we are also challenged with even the growth of aquatic weeds in some of our water bodies and all that. So don't let us narrow it down to Galamsey. Galamsey, we are fighting it now. And I believe that we are all playing our role, including you as media men. We know what government is doing. Okay, the Ghana Water Company Limited, the Water Resources Commission, the Ministry of Works, Housing and Water Resources, we all have our roles to play, and everybody is ensuring that it is brought to its lowest level. Okay, but don't let us limit it alone to Galamsey. That is why I like to mention either alluvial mining or pollution of our water
So that we
bodies.
don't limit ourselves to just Galamsey.
Exactly.
Okay, okay. Just this week, there was some management shakeup, some internal shakeup when it comes to the Ghana Water Company Limited, and some managers because of performance issues. Now, what specific new accountability measures are being implemented, for instance, to tackle the 52% non-revenue water losses?
So there are strategies being put in place to reduce our non-revenue water, because it's a serious challenge to us. Okay, so for instance, we are introducing technology. Actually, we have introduced some technology since 2014. Okay, and every time we see new programs, new software, new whatever, everything coming on board, we are open to every program. We are receptive to every anything at all that will fit into our terrain to enable us reduce our non-revenue water. So everything is being done to reduce it. And like my managing director said, including even the staff that we work with. Okay, now everything is performance based. And so that if you have a target to reduce non-revenue water, then all the resources that you need are provided to you, and then you ensure that you meet your target. If you don't meet your target, just like any other organization, you will be reassigned. And that is what our managing director put out.
Okay.
Thank you.
So what about those who have been found who are perhaps who have been complicit in aiding the work of illegal miners, which is affecting the operations of the company?
Yeah, they'll be dealt with accordingly.
Okay. So these 41 or so persons have been reassigned. They haven't lost their jobs. They've just been reassigned. That's it.
That's the meaning of reassignment.
Okay. Okay. Now we've seen reports of high turbidity and chemical contamination in our rivers and whatnot, like extra chemicals, energy. How has this led to the increased use of, perhaps chemicals in water treatment, and what are the implications when it comes to cost and water equity?
The Ghana Water Limited treats water according to standards. Now, our first standard, or the basic standard globally, is the World Health Organization standards. And in Ghana, we have drinking water standards by the Ghana Standards Authority. Okay. As a company, let me also state that the Ghana Standards Authority standards is higher than that of WHO.
Okay.
And then as a company, we also have our own standards. And our standards are also higher than that of Ghana Standards Authority, because we want to meet world-class standards. We want to ensure that we give our people the best quality water to keep them healthy and very productive for our economy. So as a company, that has been our target. We also have a vision to be a world-class utility. To be a world-class utility, it means that we have to aim higher and work hard towards it. And that's exactly what we are doing. Now, when it comes to water treatment, all our treatment plants must meet the standards that I'm talking about. So now, when there are chemicals and other forms of pollutants in our water, we need to treat the water to the levels that I've talked about. Now, to treat that level, it means that we will have to use a lot more chemicals and more inputs than a lot more inputs to get to that standard. Now, the more you add on and the more you try to abstract and extract, okay, it makes cost of production high. So if, for instance, there's the presence of mercury or cyanide in the raw water that you abstract for treatment, it means that whatever chemical that you need to add on to bring down the levels of the cyanide or to eradicate or extract this cyanide gives it additional cost. Now, let me give you an example.
Okay.
It's the Volta River, where we have several treatment plants, okay, where we abstract for treatment. It's not polluted like the pra that you mentioned earlier on.
Okay.
You understand?
Yeah.
So in treating water from the Volta River, we use less chemicals. Okay. So it makes cost of production low, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
Are you getting the analogy?
Yeah, I get the analogy.
Now,
yeah.
if we take on the Pra River, you realize that because of the high pollution and the presence of heavy metals and dangerous chemicals, we have had to use more expensive chemicals and more expensive processes in abstracting all those ones from the treatment of the water. In addition, we use more energy to abstract even less water for treatment. So it makes cost of production very, very high. Are you getting the two scenarios that I'm creating?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. Yeah.
The other aspect is that because the water is heavily chemicals and all that, our equipment are not created to abstract those pollutants. Okay, so then these particles also affect the pumps in a way, because they fill up the sump, and every time you have to, instead of, let's say, servicing a pump, let's say once in a month or once in 2 months, you have had to do that, let's say, once in every 2 weeks. Other than that, then they get faulty or they are unable to function effectively. Now, the more of pollutants in the water, you realize that the differentiation between the cost of production is very, very high. Okay, there's a wide gap between cost of production for less polluted water compared to heavily polluted water, and that is why we are always fighting against the pollution of our river bodies, because the higher the cost of production, the higher our tariffs will be. So if we all crave for lower tariffs, then we all will have to get involved in the fight against the pollution of our river bodies. Then we can have low tariffs and enjoy very good economy.
Prices are also increasing. So thank you for the explanation there. And so some of the treatment plants have been shut down. For instance, the ones in Takwa and Central Region, like you rightly said, untreatable pollution levels. What other factors trigger the shutdown? And when can we expect them back in operations?
Now, the main challenge for the shutdown of the Ponsa treatment plant is the heavily siltation of our intake. So our equipments are there and are functionable, but are not functioning because the abstraction area is silted. So we can't abstract water for treatment. Now, we spend a lot in the desilting of our intakes. Now, the Bonsa treatment plant, for instance, was desilted just 3 weeks before the shutdown of the plant. So we spent close to 30 million Ghana cedis in desilting the area, and in less than 2 weeks, the place is silted again. Okay, so is it economically feasible or is it economically prudent for us to be desilting, spending, let's say, 10 million cedis or more in desilting an area every 2 weeks? Let's ask ourselves, is it economically prudent for a businessman to be doing this? How much money are you making from the area that it serves? For you to use 10 million Ghana cedis every 2 weeks to desilt this one. So it is not feasible. So it is important that we fight against this pollution of our river bodies, so that we can have a smooth flow of our river, a very quality raw water. We can abstract and use less chemical, okay, and make production less expensive, and then we can produce even more for the people to consume. I hope
that the treatment plants have been shut down. It's affected them adversely, hasn't it?
So what else can we do? Treatment plant. The treatment plant is built such that we have to abstract water from a river body called Bonsa, and then we'll treat the water and pump to the people living within the community. Now, this river is silted every 2 weeks. We spend 10 million cedis to desilt, and then 2 weeks after, the place is silted again, and then we have to spend another 10 million cedis to desilt. It is not economically prudent. Get my words very well. Okay, if, for instance, there's a way to desilt without any cost, then we can go ahead to treat the water for the people. Okay. We have been complaining about the pollution. Even the pollution, the polluted water itself is expensive to treat. Now we've had to spend even additional money to desilt. Okay, so sometimes we need to look at these scenarios very well. My question is it economically prudent for us to be doing that? Yeah. Now, as a company, we're looking at alternatives, because for us, it is not prudent for us to be spending that much. We don't even have it. You understand? Yeah. We don't even have it. Even our tariffs, look at the levels of our non-revenue water, and our tariffs are also not reflective. So how can we get that money to be spending? We are importing chemicals, this thing every time. Every input needed for the treatment of water is imported. You understand? So how are we going to make money to be doing this thing, to be desilting, or to be treating very small volumes of water at very high cost? You understand? Now we are looking at alternatives. And a few weeks ago, our managing director visited the Ediaprem Anglo Gold Mine. Okay. Now they have excavated into the earth crust, into the aquifers, and now we are having huge volumes of underground water. We are looking at how we can explore the use of this underground water for treatment for the people, other than using 10 million Ghana cedis a week or every
In
2
2
weeks
weeks,
to
just to
distilled
distilled
this.
all that. Mr. Marty,
And that is also not to say that we are abandoning the intake. No, okay, we will still have to fight against the pollution of our river bodies, the silt the area, so that we can still abstract water for the people of Takwa and its environs.
okay, some people have made the assertion that perhaps the equipment that the company uses are obsolete, that they're not matching up to modern technology. That's why you have to spend all these monies in order to distill the polluted waters. Is that the case? And perhaps are we getting new machinery in order to match up with modern times?
We don't dispute the fact that we have very old equipment, but because we maintain them very well, because of our very effective standard operating procedures, all these equipments are still functioning and functioning effectively. You understand? Now, where it's necessary for us to change, we will change, and we are changing some of the old and outmoded ones. You understand?
Yeah.
But uh, 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 the old pumps have not, the only challenge we have with our old pumps is the fact that their their energy consumption is high, but they function and function very well. Some of them are even stronger than the new ones that are coming up
Oh, okay.
now.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
Besides equipment are very, very expensive. So if we can use an existing one and use it more effectively, why do we spend more money?
You just
The
stick with
more
what you
money, the
have.
money
Yeah.
that is not even that we don't even have. Pumps. But we are changing the old ones where they need to be changed. And where we still have the old ones functioning, it means they are functioning and functioning effectively.
Okay, so which
Thank you.
brings us to the Teshi desalination plant. It's been shut down since like October last year. Now, what are the main reasons behind that?
I've mentioned separately that there are two reasons. One is maintenance, and then the two is some legal issues.
Okay.
Now you appreciate the fact that the desalination plant is a BOOT.
It's a
Now the government of Ghana a build own. So the government of Ghana, okay, in around 2012, 2013, thereabout, got investors to put up the desalination plant because that area, Teshi Nungwa, was seriously distressed when it comes to water. So then in 2014, the plant was built and completed in 2015. Then His Excellency the President commissioned it somewhere in April 2015, and we have been operating this plant. So the build, own, operate, and transfer arrangement is such that the operators operate the plant because they own it for now. At the end of every month, we pay capacity charge and other variable charges.
okay.
And then after 25 years, there'll be a transfer of ownership to the Ghana Water Limited. You understand? That is arrangement. They have built, they own it, they're operating it. And then we pay capacity charges and variable charges every month. So that at the end of the 25 years, the ownership is transferred to us as a company and as a country. Now, if you look at our treatment plants throughout the country, they have an average age of 40 years, which means that some of them are less than 40 years, some of them are more than 40 years. Our treatment plants very well because they're expensive to build, so that they can go beyond the normal horizon of the plant. Now, every plant is built with a certain lifespan, let's
Okay.
say that
40 years?
for us, because of our peculiar nature, no, not necessarily. Sometimes it's more, depending on the size and the way it is built, the plan and all that.
Sure.
Now, we always want to manage our plants very well. The normal horizon or the normal lifespan of the plant. So it's not managed or it's not maintained. One, not too good, too safe for us after 25 years. Now we are about 11 years into the contract. We have 14 years more. Can the current state of the plant, okay, help us through the next 14 years? And then go beyond the 14 years for another 25 years? That is the question we need to ask ourselves. So as a company, that is what we have. Okay, after 25 years, or after the next 14 years, we should be able to operate it for the next 25 years or more. And that is what we are fighting for. So these are the issues. There are legal issues. We are within the legal issues. There are that's the obligations on the part of both parties.
Okay.
So they have the obligations. We also have our obligations. Now, I wouldn't say that all of us are perfect. Both parties default in a certain way, but we've still had a very good relationship over the October, and we are hopeful that this situation will end within the shortest time possible, so that we can put the plant back into operation. And that is what we are doing currently.
So listening to you, so what would you say? We are in the middle of January. What would you say the timeline of resolution for the plants to come back online?
I wouldn't be able to give any timelines because I've given two situations.
Yes,
one is maintenance. As engineers, when it comes to maintenance, we can give timelines. You understand?
Yeah.
And then work with it and ensure that we are ahead or we are on time with our plans. But when it comes to legal issues, it becomes a bit difficult to give timelines. But let's be rest assured that the government has gotten involved into this impasse, and we are hopeful that it should end within the shortest time possible. Okay. The minister is involved, the president himself is aware and is involved. The parties are meeting, and we are hopeful that within the shortest time possible, we should get a plan back into operation.
Yes, and we are hopeful that we'll be opening soon. But like we are listening to you this morning, Mr. Martey, and at least give us some semblance of hope. If you had to estimate, regardless of the legal issues, from an engineering perspective, perhaps, how would you estimate how soon can the plant be open so that the people in Teshie and its environs, don't have these water shortages and whatnot?
What I've always said that I come from Teshie, I hail from Teshie. I'm a pure indigene of Teshie, and I live within the community. So I'm also faced with the same challenge. And so what I want my people to appreciate, and everybody to appreciate, that whatever we are doing currently is in the interest of the people. That must be paramount, and that must be appreciated. Okay. We are not doing this for selfish thing, but it is for the interest, or in the interest of those of us who live and consume the water from the desal plant. Okay, our health is important. We need good quality drinking water. And if the water is low quality, if the water doesn't reach the standards, okay, for instance, because of the presence of the sodium chloride, okay, it will affect most of our faucets, and it could our toiletries and everything in our homes. It could also affect our health. You understand?
Yeah.
So as a company, we're ensuring that we get good quality drinking water from the plant, so that, because the health of the people who are being served by the desal plant is paramount to the nation. And so we'll do everything possible and to ensure that everything goes well. That I can assure the people. But I'm reluctant to talk about timelines. Because it's a bit difficult to do so. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I get your point, Mr. Martey. It would have been lovely to get something back. I get the point you're also making. So beyond restarting the Teshie plant, what sustainable financial model are you going to implement, so perhaps these legal battles, these debts we're talking about, will be things of the past?
We've been handling this situation for the past 11 years. There hasn't been any challenge except this time. And so we are hopeful that whatever the discussions are, whatever models we put in place, is going to ensure that this impasse does not reoccur. Okay. But I also want to let our people know, and everybody within the country, that the little money that we collect in terms of revenue is what we invest into the system, so that we are able to serve everybody well. Now, our system is a post-paid system. So you consume the water before your bill comes for you to pay. So people should desist from the habit of saying that I've not had water today. Why are you bringing me a bill?
A bill.
You consumed.
Okay.
Yes. If you receive your bill today, it means that you consumed the water yesterday. Okay, so you have to pay for what you have consumed, because we need that little money, put them together, and to pay our obligations, to settle our obligations, and ensure that we are able to serve you effectively, continuously, and the way you desire. Okay, because if we do not pay, if we do not buy chemicals, if we don't buy equipment, we do not change the equipment, we do not do whatever we use the revenue for, how do you get the water into your home?
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
please.
Yes. So, Mr. Martin, I've been listening to you this morning, and I see the kind of work that your outfit has been up to. But there's a general assertion out there that perhaps when it comes to Ghana, our maintenance culture is bad. You know, that kind of sustenance we give to our equipment and whatever is being handed
But
over
not
to
that
us.
but not that of the Ghana Water Limited.
So
For us, we don't joke with our
I want you
maintenance.
to
We don't.
debunk that assertion this morning.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. With the Ghana Water Limited, and that is why we have treatment plants that are 50, 60 years, and they are still functioning and functioning effectively. We do not joke with our maintenance at all. And our standard operating procedures are also strictly adhered to. Because you could lose your job if you don't go adhere to our SOPs. You understand?
Yeah, I get it.
Meanwhile, water is a security issue. You understand? It's a national security issue. So the least mistake, and then you jeopardize the lives of several of the population. So you can't joke with it at all. No, not under any circumstances. And that is why in the process of treating water, every hour we take samples and we test from the source to the final clear water.
Okay.
And if there's a little anomaly, the entire system is shut down, and to ensure that everything is rectified before we continue with production. So every hour the raw water is tested. Every hour the water in the clarifiers are tested, water in the filters are tested, and water in the final clear water reservoir is also tested. And there are records of them from day one that the treatment plant is that nothing untoward comes into the system. So that is why we are very sure to also say, anytime there's some contamination within the system, we are very proud to say that it is not from the treatment plant. Okay, even without recourse to the management of a treatment plant, I can unequivocally say that pollution within the community does not come from our treatment plant. Okay. It is within the community, and we'll go down there and we'll see where the challenge is from, and then we will rectify it within the community, flush the lines, and then ensure that they get good quality drinking water. We are very, very, very passionate about our job. We are very, very strict with our procedures, because people consume our water directly into their system.
Yeah.
So the slightest anomaly, it affects a lot of people, and we do not joke. We don't take that for granted, not at all.
Yeah. So thank you for clarifying. Thank you for clarifying that as well. And it's like when it comes to treatment levels, it's like listening to you. It's like it's like treating it is becoming harder and harder. Are the consumers at risk now that we are treating it more than we used to back in the day?
Not at all. Like I keep saying, if water does not pump into the system at all, you understand, and that is why we shut some of the treatment plants down, because when the water is rendered untreatable, or when it is not economically efficient or prudent for us to treat the water, we shut down the plant.
Okay, so there should be no fears at all, because we hear about all these high stability and all that. It's like, hey, our water looks different from what it used to be. Yeah, so there are these fears among the general public. Perhaps the water is being
no. There should be no fear at all. If everybody must be reassured that if you open your taps and water is flowing, then the water is wholesome for consumption. If the water is not wholesome, it will not leave the treatment plant. You understand? Now, if we test even the raw water, and the raw water has some level of pollution, we will not even waste chemical to treat. But if the water is treatable, we will treat and get water to our people. I hope you are getting
Oh yes, I do.
what I'm saying.
Yes, I do. And you are laying all the fears of those who
Thank
have that should I say fear that the water is now
you.
undrinkable and all that. You are laying
Nobody
those fears.
should be,
Yeah.
nobody should be scared if you open your tap and water is flowing. You shouldn't be scared at all. I drink directly from the tap. If you
Okay.
come to my home, I drink water directly from the tap because I trust the water that we produce. And we also must know that every water that flows through the tap is fresh because
Okay.
it is less than 24 hours old. Okay, we treat our water continuously, non-stop. So if you open your tap and it's flowing, it means that water is less than 24 hours old. So it is fresh. So it is the best that you can think of. Now, with our packaged water on the market, are we able to tell when it was produced? Are we able to tell the processes that they have gone through the market to your home? Are you able to tell?
Like, are we able to
So you
determine
can't
where it's coming from? Is that what you mean?
exactly.
Yeah.
So yes, so you can't compare packaged water to water flowing from your taps. So for me, I drink directly from the tap.
Okay. Okay. Because sometimes when it has this whitish.
And two, the whitest substance that you are talking about is the presence of chlorine. It's nicely and sweetly scented, and the chlorine is. If you see the whitest substance, it means that there's been some post-chlorination that has been done or that has happened within your community. Now, what we do is when we pump the water into the system, we also monitor the quality of water on a daily basis. Or you understand, within our community.
Yes.
So we have a quality assurance department that drives through our communities and then to test or to sample the water and then to introduce more chemical. We call it the post-chlorination, so that if there has been any seepage into our lines, then this chemical takes care of it, and that is the whitest substance that you see, and that only lives for like 5 to 10 seconds and it fades off. You understand?
Okay.
And then you see that sweetly scented, that is the presence of chlorine, and that is, if you see that, you have to be happy that your water
It's being treated.
is being.
Yeah.
Are you surprised?
No, I missed the last part. The last part of what you said.
I'm saying what I said was, it means that water has been treated and treated very well.
Okay.
Okay, and that even taken care of by chlorine, the presence of the chlorine. You fetch, and after 5 seconds, after 5 seconds, it goes off. It's the presence of chlorine.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Martey, just a bill comes in, for instance. Some people are expecting their taps to flow, and when it doesn't, they leave the tap open to check when it actually starts flowing before they start fetching the water. Now, is it true that when that happens, they leave it open for a while and water is not going through it? The air that passes through the pipes, for instance, are increasing the readings on our meters, which leads to increased bills that we receive from the Ghana Water Company.
We've had such complaints for a very long time, and to prove that, we have tested it for people to see. Our meters, okay, only read when fluids flow through them, and I'm saying fluids because I don't want to say that it only measures only water. If any liquid flows through it, it will read, but not air. Air is not liquid, is it?
No, it's not. It's not.
So, and when air is blowing through your taps, it also means that water is on its way. Then it means that water is pushing the air out for water to flow. Okay, so it will, and not the air, because the calibration in the meter is such that the air cannot push it to move. The meter calibration equipment meter, air cannot push it for it to read. It is only water, or it is only liquids that can push it. So people must be rest assured that there's no way that will happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I can tell anybody, that.
So, Mr. Martey, you can tell everyone.
Hello.
Yes. Yeah. You're saying you can tell everyone.
Yes, I'm saying that I can assure everyone, but that cannot happen for
Okay.
air to move the calibrations within the meter for it to
Right.
read. No, it is only liquids.
Okay.
And because it is connected to a pipeline, it is only the water that flows through it that can move it for it to read.
Mr. Martey, you realize that sometimes when the water comes, you've explained the whitish, it's like colonization, that kind of thing. But sometimes too, we see this
As post-chlorination. Post-chlorination.
Post-chlorination, yes.
Yes.
And then, but sometimes too, when you open the taps and it's the water is coming out, you see these sediments, like some dirt, and even gets to a point, if you should fill up a bucket, you see the sediments below once you let the water settle. But you're saying it's safe to drink from our taps. Can you address this one as well? There are these sediments, these dirt, the water is brownish also.
Okay. Now, our water situation has not been good for some time. So we have always been encouraging people to store water. Now, when people have different types of reservoirs, some underground, some concrete, some plastics, and all that. Now, when we encourage everybody to clean any reservoir or any receptacle at least once every quarter. Okay. But there are a lot of people who have, let's say, these reservoirs, and for years have not cleaned them.
That is true.
Now, when with time, there will be some settlements, okay, in your reservoir. Let's say your level goes, and it will agitate.
Okay.
The field below the tank or beneath the tank, so you see that. You understand? Now, if we do not, we'll also have to realize that there's always also some chemical reactions going on since we use chemicals in treating the water. Now we have very polluted water source. We introduce the first chemical that coagulates the filth in the water. The filth settles, okay, and then it goes into a next stage and another stage, and then it is filled with the bacteria and any pathogen that may have gone into the water before it is pumped into the system. Now, when water is in the system, we also still continue to do what we call the post-chlorination. Okay. We still introduce some chemicals to take care of some of these things.
All right.
So when they get into our homes, and for instance, your tanks are dirty, okay, tank, definitely if there's some sediment, it means that they may have seeped through the pipelines into our homes. Now, because of the chemical reaction, they will settle down, and then it is okay for consumption. Now, if you also fetch water into any receptacle and it is not covered, now there are a lot of pollutants in the air which we can't see with our naked eyes. You understand? But when your water, your storage is, it will collect these, coagulate and become bigger, and that is how it's polluted. There are a lot of particles in the air, but we can't see with our eyes. You understand? If it is water, there's chemicals that we can introduce into the water, and it will put all these unseen particles together. Then they become bigger and heavier, and that is how come they settle. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, I am.
Any sediment at all that you see in your water, it's okay. Some of them could be as a result of other seepages, which may not be wholesome for consumption. Office will do the chemical analysis, and then we will be able to go into the area and have it rectified. so that we can continue consuming the water.
Okay, that's assuming the person
So
has checked
everything
their
that
containers.
hello,
Yes,
hello,
yes. Mr. Martey. Yes.
yeah. So what I'm saying is that I have explained why express any fear in how some of the sediments
Sediments, yeah.
should not be taken for granted. Okay, so store your water very well, have it covered and everything, and then now if you haven't covered your reservoir or your receptacle very well, then you have to be careful with if you think it is not normal, then please just fetch a sample to the Ghana Water Limited, the nearest Ghana Water Limited office, and then we'll do the analysis and tell you what the problem is. But anytime we are informed of some seepage or pollution in a community, we isolate the community. We try to identify where the challenge is, rectify it, flush the lines, and then we open up for our consumers to consume.
Okay.
Okay, so with our processes, there shouldn't be any fear.
Okay.
But then anything at all can happen. Our lines are buried, and anything can happen, especially when we have people illegally connecting our water and all that. They are not professionals. So if they don't do it well, then obviously we can have some seepages which could affect us. So if you see anything like that, keep us informed. And please stop the use of quack plumbers within our communities to do illegal connections for you.
Yeah.
Go to the Ghana Water Limited offices near you. Follow the processes so that you are connected professionally, and we'll be following up to service you the way we should. Then you can be safe with the water that comes into your home.
Okay. We've heard about innovative proposals like the EPA's ionic nano copper for cleaning polluted water bodies. Is the Ghana Water Company perhaps?
Every technology from any stakeholder is welcomed, okay, because we need water into our system. So we don't also just hold on to anything at all. We'll do due diligence. We'll put experts together to ensure that it meets the best quality for consumption. And so they have mentioned that they are in touch with our water, with our production unit and our water quality assurance unit. And if it is anything prudent for us to accept and to use, why not?
All right, sure.
Thank you.
And so there's also cited population growth, where perhaps what the plan what we already have.
The government, okay, has a vision of 100% access to water by 2030. We also have the Sustainable Development Goals, which ensure and with the time by 2030. Now, any investment as a company, we have development plans on paper that will ensure that there's 100% access to water. The other aspect is the capital, okay, the funding to enable us implement what we have on paper. Now, the government is, because we do not have realistic tariffs where we can make profit or where we can have very good balance sheets to go for facility on our own. It is government that supports us.
Okay.
So government is supporting us so that we get some investment into the system so that we can expand to bridge the gap by the rapid population growth within. As the investments are coming in, we are building new treatment plants and all that. We're extending pipelines and all that. We'll be able to reach out to everybody and to meet the target of 2030. So everything possible is being done. But okay. Then the ultimate is funding. The ultimate is funding. The funding comes in and we are fine and we are good to go. Okay. Let's pray for the best.
Yes, Mr. Martey, we've had quite an extensive conversation. I want you to stay on the line. My colleague is in Tema Committee 1 and she can hear from you as well. So please stay with us on the line.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. Val, if you can hear me, good morning. Welcome. How are you doing?
Welcome back to our show. Thank you for joining us. So we are in Tema, specifically the Padmore electoral area, where the residents here Hi, welcome back to our show. Thank you for sticking with us. We are currently in Tema, Community 1, specifically the Padmore electoral area. And this area consists of Community 20, Site 21, 17,